In 1990, when Cameroon's President Paul Biya launched freedom of mass communication and freedom of association, many Cameroonians were happy that a new dawn has arrived in Cameroon. And during that period, there was the formation of political parties, and individuals were given the privilege or right to own private broadcast media. At the same time, we were given the privilege to have freedom of speech, freedom of expression, and freedom of association. And in 1996, there was an effective decentralization law that was passed into place by the Cameroon's parliament, in which it mandated the Cameroon's parliament, the state authorities, to implement effective decentralization. But the decentralization was in a snail pace and moving in a tortoise way of working, and we are still facing the effect today. And because of the slow pace of the effective decentralization, we witnessed a crisis in the north and southwest region, which erupted in 2016 with the teachers and the lawyers, and metamorphosed into a full-blown armed conflict in early 2018, during which we started hearing the sounds of guns around north and southwest region in all the nooks and crannies, and Kwakwa became a center of attraction in which it was raining bullets in Kwakwa. As far as that is concerned, Cameroon government has put in measures, effective measures, to ensure that it tackle this crisis according to the government machinery. The government also have actually articulated that they are struggling to ensure that Anglophones have accelerated decentralization with a special status which has been accorded to them following the September 2019 Grand Measure National Dialogue, which took place, in which we were told that a special status had been accorded to the north and southwest region. In all of this, we're still witnessing how the nation is ongoing with this war within the north and southwest region. Minister Paul Atanga, Cameroon's Minister of Territorial Administration, was in Bamenda 2 weeks ago and articulated that the Cameroon's government has actually won the war against the separatists. Minister Paul Atanga said the government has won the war and that only a handful of pocket resistances are those fighting, and he urged the voices in the bushes to lift up their arms and to come up and meet those who are already at the DDR center. According to that, Minister Paul Atanga also articulated that all measures have been put in place to welcome those who have dropped their arms to ensure that Cameroon move on effectively and peacefully. National identity card issue is equally another center of discussion on today's edition of our program. With passport difficult to come by, most of us are still to procure our ID card. Some of us, the system of getting this ID card is like an elephant to pass through the eye of a needle. This is House of Commons with me, Tamai Jarvis. Happy Sunday to all those of you who are joining us on House of Commons. It is a special 31st January 2021. Finally, January is going out, and we are welcoming February on Monday within a new day. To discuss on today's topic, we are looking at two topics today. We are looking at Mr. Paul Atanga's victory and Ayaba Lucas blaming the Anglophone non-state armed groups, stating that they are committing acts against humanity, crimes against humanity, and they are equally kidnapping people based on what he termed Turks, according to Ayabacho's own word, who is one of the frontline leader of the Anglophone movement, who happens to be the boss of the ADF, with Ayabacho Ebenezer Akanga blaming the Anglophone separatist movement. Is it that Mr. Paul Atanga's declaration of victory was correct after all? Mr. Ignatius, Fondo Ignatius Tebek, welcome and thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Jarvis. Good afternoon. And I wish to say congratulations to Cameroon and the population of Douala as they are celebrating the victory of the Lions yesterday. Equally, I will, for the first time, I will join others to send my heartfelt condolences to the bereaved families concerning what happened in the West region. In the West region in Chang. Even that of is in the towards Bafia. We should pray that 2021 should not be like 2020, because we thought that 2020 was a very bad year and we thought that we were coming out of that type of ill luck. But we see 2021 almost becoming the same thing. We should pray strongly so that God should save us and save Cameroonians from this type of situation.
Okay.
So thank you very much.
Ba Akwen is here with us. She is a political analyst. Ba Akwen, thanks for joining us. A privilege to have you, and a happy Sunday to you.
Thank you, Mr. Jarvis. Good morning or good afternoon to my co-panelists. I want to send a special greetings to all Cameroonians and all the televiewers of my Media Prime and House of Common. I also want to congratulate the victory of the Cameroonian team over the Congolese team yesterday to 2-1. But really what caught my attention, or what drafted my attention, was to the fact that the COVID-19 test run on these Congolese players previously proved that 13 of the Congolese players were infected by the coronavirus. And later, a team from the CAF came and did a control factor, came and did and ran another test on these Congolese players that later proved that just 3 were infected. Now, the question is, what really calls my attention is it that the first results that came out was a way to mentally disqualify the Congolese team before the game began? Or is it that the strips they used for the test was not really appropriate, or were not really good, or was at fault? And 2, I might also say that the CAF team that came and did the second test on these Congolese players, were they under pressure? Or they just wanted to, favor the team of the Congolese that mounted pressure on them, both in Cameroon and out of Cameroon? So I really want to, want those that have the ability to educate us more on the issue of the tests that were run on these Congolese players, to tell us what really happened. Because if really the tests that were run previously were true, it means that the lives of so many Cameroonians and Congolese and other supporters at the field were really put at risk.
Okay.
It is a question that needs an answer urgently.
Thank you very much for that insight. Subsequently, on other editions, we will look at that. I think it's time good enough for us to move into the crux of the matter on today's edition, while waiting on other members of the panel to join us. I'll begin with you, Mr. Ignatius Tebek. When we look at a when we take a cross look at the Anglophone crisis, from when it all started till now, the graph is gradually of hostility is moving down, and Minister Paul Atanga, in one of his visits in the northwest region, articulated that the Bias-led government, the Cameroon government, has won the war against the separatists. And of recent, we saw Ayaba Lucas and Ebenezer Atanga blaming the boys for committing crimes against humanity, and indicating that they have done a lot of crimes, and that is why maybe the struggle is struggling to fail. What can you make of all these happenings as far as this is concerned? Could it be that the war has been won, according to Mr. Paul Atanga's word?
Jarvis, we all know our minister. We have been seeing all his outings. He's used to talking like that. But as a minister, to say something as a minister, he does not just say it like that. He has a reason behind. He, as a minister, before the declaration, there are things that he count on it before declaring that the government has won. Even I have not spoken with him direct, but from my own see, I believe that according to him, the victory is, one of the factors is that the government has been able to station the military in the Anglophone zone for 4 years today. That is one of the things that I see. And then I want to look again on the other side. I can also declare the other side, their own victory is that they have been able to command the goal stand for 4 years today. I begin to see things like power sharing. I'm beginning to suspect these two groups. I'm beginning to suspect them. They meet, because really we are seeing the way things are going. Shooting is continuing taking place. Civilians are being killed. soldiers are also being killed. Children are not going to school. In short, the activities, economic activities, are not moving well. People are really in pain. I don't yet see any victory on the side of the government nor the side of the separatists. As for the minister, he is very used to making declarations like this. But what I would like to say is that they don't take consideration into, they don't consider the population, they don't put the population at the first place before making such a declaration, because the people feeling the pain is the population. That's what I see with the minister. On the side of the declaration of Ayaba, I see it coming in, his intervention is coming in very late. These are things that they were supposed to, if really they know that they were fighting a genuine fight. We have seen chaos on the field for quite a long time. You see, there are groups that they are sponsoring. Sometimes we even turn against the other group, to the extent that you cannot more identify which group is which one. That is how some of the groups have even been transformed into armed robbers, that they attack even some financial institutions and carry money away. All those things, we cannot blame another person but the people who are commanding the fighters on the field. I thought that they were not seeing, because really, if you believe that you are fighting for a people, and then you turn to torture the people the way we are seeing, sometimes it gives you curse. According to Ayaba, one of the reasons that he's reacting like this, maybe he is trying to say that they have not been able to win the war for 4 years because of the malpractices of the fighters on the field. But according to me, that thing is a curse. It is the pain that has been put on the population. You know, the innocent people, the only weapon that they have is prayers.
Okay.
Yes, when they pray, they curse you, and when they curse you, you will not succeed the mission that you are out for. According to me, I consider that really they should begin to understand that the way they handle it, the population is cursing them from behind. I witnessed a situation in my village where a classmate of mine died, and they carried the corpse to the village. The family is in pain. The corpse was lying in front of the compound, and these boys came and arrested up to about 10 people who came from the town to bury that man. What happened? All mothers rallied themselves, went behind, and naked themselves, and were covered their heads and naked themselves, and were dancing in front of those boys. And then I realized that something was wrong. Jarvis, if you are from the Northwest, you know what it means by an old mother standing in front of you naked. That is a type of curse which I don't really know. Any man that sees that is supposed to run away. But I realized that those boys, while the old mothers were dancing and cursing them, they stood and were looking at them. That is to tell you that that group, some of them do not even know what they are doing, and they don't even know, even the pain that they are put on the population, they do not even understand that it is paining. Because really, somebody who does not fear his own life will quickly take your life away without having that human feeling. They were cursed until somebody had to tell them that what has taken place there, it means that all of you are finished. And I'm also seeing it on both sides. On both sides, really, when you may yourself a soldier, you know that a soldier has a target. A soldier is to fight war, and to fight war you have a target. Okay. But if you derail from the person you are supposed to fight, and you begin to fight armless people, you are cursed. Do you know the way fighters are cursed? You are cursed in a way that anytime you go on war front, you will be at least the first person to be killed. So I am already seeing that one on both sides. Even okay. So, yes, even soldiers who commit atrocities, and I'm seeing them. These people who fall like that are those people who do not go in for what they are being instructed to do.
But let me come to you. You are a member of the PCRN, and you are someone who is vast with the happenings in North and Southwest region. When we look at Minister Paul Atanganji's outing, that Cameroon government has won the war. On the other hand, immediately, I think 3 days after Atanga's outing, Ayaba Lucans and Ebenezer Kangwa equally coming out condemning the armed separatists. They are on fighters, that they are Turks, they are this, they are that, they are that. What can you make of this situation? Does it mean that Cameroon government has won this war?
Mr. Jarvis, you know, in the beginning of this crisis, it was there were so many things that the Anglophones were demanding from the government, actually, and we saw that one of the reasons were that the Anglophones were being assimilated. They also complained of the language of English language being a second-class language in Cameroon, and we also noticed of the fight between the common law and the civil law system of governance. So we saw that in the beginning their plights were really valuable. Their plights were they were loyable, if I can say. But now we can notice that with the rampant killings, the kidnaps, and most of the hate speech we have on social media, you will notice that the reasons for which this crisis started is not really the same now. And with the declarations of Atanga G, this government official, he's one of the reasons why the Anglophone crisis came to an explosion. Because previously he went to Bamenda when the Anglophones started the problems, when they were demanding some number of things from the government. He went and he said that the Anglophones have no problems, that the Anglophones are just, they are just being agitated. And this gave like a wildfire. It was a provocative speech. And recently, he still visited Bamenda, and he said, the boys, as the regular statement, he says, the boys is in the bushes. It has become like, how can I quote this? A word that people use nowadays to, like a mockery. He went there and said that the government is winning the war against the Ambazonians, or the separatist fighters. Firstly, I would tell you that a government can never win a war against its own people, because the government is like the father of Cameroon, and you cannot be fighting your own children. When children complain, you bring them together, you sit with them, and you ask for their plight, and you try to find solutions. We are going to notice that the government of Cameroon is not that kind of a fatherly person that really understands the plights, or that really want to solve the problems of the Anglophones. So we have this very prominent government official, Atanga, who is so agitated, and always, to me, I call him the problem Cameroon has, because he's always bringing out some kind of provocative speech that we Cameroonians do not need at this moment, because Cameroonians need speeches that will better calm our hearts, speeches that will bring us together as one person to look for the problems that is disturbing Cameroon. Now we are going to notice that Ayaba was one of the men behind.
Before you continue, how do you call a government official, senior minister, Cameroon's Minister of Territorial Administration, who have been working hard to ensure that this crisis comes to an end, in terms of visiting the conflict areas, visiting the military, giving humanitarian support, mattress, bucket, rice, and talking to the people, begging the boys to drop their arms, that he is a problem that Cameroon has? What do you mean by the problem Cameroon has? Is that not an overstatement for a minister who is working hard for peace to reign in Cameroon?
Mr. Jarvis, when we will start telling ourselves the truth, that is when Cameroon will be liberated. Atanga is one of the problems Cameroon has at this moment, because without the words of Atanga, it wouldn't have boiled to the anger of the Anglophones. He was the one that went to Bamenda and said the Anglophones have no problems. He is still the same person that insulted the Westerner, the chiefs from the West regions, as telling them that they should go back to the farms. So he's always he's contradicting himself. You noticed when the Grand National Dialogue, when the Prime Minister, the person I respect so much, he's a man of integrity and respect, John Gute, when he said that we are going to talk of the form of the state, he said we can discuss everything except the form of the state. Who is he? Is he greater than our Prime Minister? That's the question. He has become like a a means of public disorder to me.
But is it not just logical for a minister to encourage chiefs to pick up agriculture as another sustainable way of sustaining their community?
Mr. Jarvis, you know, on the 6th of December, we had an election called the regional elections. And who covered the electoral college? Mr. President. It is his president, and he brought out a decree. It means if Atanga is saying the chiefs should go back to the farms, it means he's insulting or he's not respecting the decree of his president. Because you will notice with me that the traditional chiefs took part in these elections. It means they are already politicians, they are into politics, and they created the House of Chiefs. So you cannot be telling me that you are with the government and you are contradicting the words of your own government. It means you do not know what you're doing. You're just being agitated. You just find it pleasant to go out and say whatever comes to your mind. So I will tell you that Atanga is one of the problems we have. Going back to Ayaba Cho, who is the ADF chairman with Ebenezer Akangwa. You know, these guys in the beginning, these guys are educated people. They are literate. And I previously said on this platform that the boys who are in the bushes are ignorant. When I talk of ignorance, it means what? They do not even know why they are fighting. They do not know why they carry arms. Most of them are just being over-emotional to the fact that they lost one member of their family, or let's just say all, or most of them who were in the universities could no longer go to school. They decided with their different reasons to join the Ambazonians in the bushes, which to me, they really do not know the pivot to which why these crises are ongoing. So these Ayaba Cho and Ebenezer Akangwa, who are the men behind the mask, who were the ones who are like the brains to these Anglophone crises. And after the speech of Atanga, they found it necessary to come back to reasons, because at every point we are all humans. We are humans, and I think that it's that humanly feeling in them that made them to come back to the fact that you cannot tell us that you are fighting for a people which you are killing. You cannot tell us that you are fighting for a people you deprive of education. Meanwhile, their own kids are going to school. Their own kids receive education. They are living under good conditions. Yet they deprive those they say they are fighting for not having all these facilities. But Mr. Jarvis, I will tell you that it's a political strategy, because this is a political fight. It is a political battle between the government and the secessionists and their leaders. So I think it is a political strategy that I cannot give a 100% consent to his outing, because it could still be that it is another window dressing. Because if normally he was supposed to denounce these guys, it is not today. We have had killings. We had the killings in Manfe. We had the killings of the what happened recently in PSS Mancon and in PCSS Bafut. We had so many deaths like what happened in Mauto recently. All these things were supposed to be denounced, not today. We have lost a lot of youths. We have lost children. We have lost mothers. We have lost so many people. Why is it now that
some of these killings you've articulated, especially in Mautu, are controversial? Because some will say those who were killed by men spotted in military gears, and some were killed by men not spotted in military gears. Does it mean that all of the killings are to be blamed on Ayaba Cho Lucas? Based on
no, Mr. Jarvis, you know, whether who kills or who doesn't kill, because you know this government and the secessionists, they are trying to play a blame game. In the beginning, we do not know who killed. This one will kill so that they will accuse this person, so that international opinions will pour a blame on a particular person. Now we are on the fact that whosoever kills, it is not important, because the life of everybody is important. Ayaba Cho was supposed to denounce this, being that it is the secessionists that killed or the military men that killed. He was supposed to denounce this, not today. We have lost a lot of people, but I tell you, it is better late than never.
Okay.
It is very important what he did, and I call the others to follow him and let us end this Anglophone crisis. Thank you.
Joining us, Diwum Emmanuel, thanks for coming.
Yes, Tamai Jarvis, happy Sunday to all our viewers, happy Sunday to our co-panelists, and happy Sunday to my twins back at home. I know they are always watching. I apologize for my late coming. You know,
you are never late. So
even my audience, yes, you know, driving from airport to Bange with the nature of routes that we all know is what has kept me, because people started calling long ago. I just discovered down here. So I apologize to the televiewers.
Okay, I think let me get your own opinion on this. You listen to back when articulating that Ayaba Cho's claims is seemingly political, that this act he should have denounced from genesis of the crisis. You follow the news when Cameroon's Minister of Territorial Administration articulated that we've won the war against the known state armed group. That Cameroon government has won the war. In all of these, what do you make of the situation? The cacophony, is it a sign that truly Cameroon has won the war?
Well, I'm in love with the word cacophony. It was in this same studio last Sunday that I said Cameroon is not moving. Cameroon cannot move. And I gave my reason. Cameroon has a problem which is very deep. Because those who know nothing, I'd say practically nothing, are put to do everything for this country. And Atanga, I'm tempted to believe that he's one. First and foremost, when a minister is named in this country, we always like to profile their academic background. Since from the day that Mr. Atanga was nominated, I've never heard anything. I've tried to find out. Even electronically, I've heard nothing about his academic profile or background. And that explains why Cameroon is... In fact, his outing comforts my words and my position on the fact that Cameroon cannot move with people who know nothing, put or place to do almost everything for the country. You will understand that Mr. Atanga is more of a catalyst and a provocator to this crisis. From the beginning, when he said, I said it yesterday, I'm saying it today, and I shall say it tomorrow, Cameroon has always honored Anglophones. Anglophones have a very high hand of support in this country from the head of state. But unfortunately, we're in a system where vices have become virtues, and those who practice vices every day are very sure of their positions in the government. So vices in this country have been transformed to virtues. That is why people like Atanga, that I myself, sometimes when I just get this name, Mr. Atanga, it's like gastritis is beginning to attack my lungs. Because listen, because any of his outing,
I'm coming. I want to get clarification. Yes. This is Cameroon's, one of Cameroon's most active minister, who have been very, very hardworking, yes, in terms of going to the north region of the country to help those fighting against Boko Haram insurgency. In the west region, when the landslide occurred last year, he was there in the west region. He was there when the accident occurred early December. When the accident occurred, he was one of the few ministers to be on ground. He has visited north and southwest region on numerous occasions. He has been to the east region and to ensure that everything is moving on well. And you say, when you hear him talk, it's like gastritis. What do you mean by that? This is someone accredited minister.
Accredited by who?
By the state. And one of the most active workaholic minister we have.
Now, I give back this question to you, even though you are the one asking the question. If Atanga was a credible minister, why can he not go down to Maitunkwen alone and walk free as I'm walking? Will the people identify with him? No, let's say these things the way they are. Let's be honest to ourselves. It is clear. I am telling you that Atanga as a person, I don't have any problem with him. But Atanga as a minister and his government, which this CBDM regime government is the highest curse that has ever happened to the Cameroonian people. You know, if the Cameroonian people were not very law abiding, very patient, very understanding, we would have had several wars, not just the southwest, northwest war that we are talking today. So Cameroon is in war. we should not only limit it to northwest, southwest, because I know what is making us to be so much akin to what is happening in northwest and southwest is because there's bloodshed every day. But I want to tell you that war is not only this bloodshed. War is in many forms. This is a minister whom I don't think he takes advice from his advisors, because I believe every minister has an advisor, if I'm not wrong. I wonder at times whether his outings are ever or have ever been guided by some advisory administrator around him, because he's a minister that jabbers. It is not talking. He's so flippant, and he opens his mouth. He does not weigh the degree of the words that comes out of his mouth.
No, but you can
anything he says.
You can attribute that the Minister of Territorial Administration, who speaks from evidence, from what the government, from what the intelligence community of Cameroon must have given him as someone who is flippant.
Mr. Jarvis, you are a journalist. Try and extend your microphone to Atanga. Ask him, these mattresses, the food you are carrying to Northwest, what is happening there that you are carrying these things? Which problem are you going to solve there? There was no problem there and there was no war. Which war has your master in A2D won? And see if he will answer you. But I think you and I, all of us, need to be looking towards peace. And if we were to look towards peace, there's no saying that the government of Cameroon has failed 99% in everything, because if I ask you just two examples, two areas in Cameroon that Cameroon has ever realized something 100%, just areas, be it in education, health, agriculture. Some of them even plant agricultural machineries to germinate like seeds somewhere in some part of the country. So you discover that in this country, nothing has ever been realized 100%. So the only thing I'm talking at the same time and give a way forward is that Cameroonians, you people have been sleeping for so long. You people are the ones babysitting. You people are the ones babysitting this government. And of course, the government has taken you people for granted. You are silenced for granted. And they are smashing on you every day. Bia can never conquer the war. He will never win the war. I buy her idea in total. You don't win a war against your people. The only way out of this Buaha is that let genuine talks take place. Let truth be said. And let reconciliation be done. Anything short of this, create 1 million commissions. Send Atanga to Northwest 1 million times. Those people that their wounds were already healed, Atanga refreshes them every day, and they go back to the start of the problem. So Atanga is like a refresher. He refreshes the problem every day. So he is the principal problem that Cameroon is having at this moment.
So you are buying to
yes.
Acquaint's own way that Atanga is the flippant is the problem that Cameroon has, but I don't seem to agree with that hypothesis. Let me come to you, Mr. Ignatius Stebek, briefly on this, so I'll move to the second topic of the day, which is concerning ID card and passport. When we get the panelists all blaming Cameroon's Minister of Territorial Administration, the workaholic minister who institute a lot of changes as far as Cameroon's intelligence is concerned, as someone who needs advisor, can we say that, does it mean that the government is not getting the right information from the people?
No, I would like to comment instead.
Because
yes, this way, I would like us to understand that there are things that do not move together. Peace does not go together with pride, nor peace does not go together with personal interest. Either you leave one of these and move with one. That's what I'm trying to see. If you cannot leave pride aside and personal interest, you leave. Don't talk about peace. Allow the peace for others to to talk about. I'm saying this one because normally at the level of the government, you see responsible authorities, when you hear them speak, you feel that this thing can go to the end. There are some people that I admire. The Prime Minister, as our sister said from here, I've noticed that most of his outing, when he's talking to the camera, he has been repeating the word forgiveness several times. I followed him very well. I also followed the former Prime Minister,
Jan
Philemon. It is difficult to hear him use raw words, terrorists, cats like other people use. So they have been using soft word. Somebody I followed ever since when the war started was the governor of Northwest region, Adolf Afrique. Jarvis, I realized something. For my first time, I realized that there's a crisis in a town, but there's one authority whom the protester, when they see him, they allow him pass. In 2017, when the convoy of Minister Atanga was attacked, I wasn't. I mean, I even tried to talk to some people. They considered the governor as a peaceful person. His convoy was going around the town until when people realized that he started playing a game. He can come like that and enter into a bar and with some of his collaborators, and they ordered beer and they were drinking. He took the images and was sending to Yaoundé that things are already moving. That's when people started refusing him from visiting business places. But what I'm quoting this one because when these intelligent ministers, whom from their behavior you know how educated they are, when they do this, and then some of them will come and then destroy everything with their words, and that attitude, Jarvis, I want to see it like I'm trying to suspect these two groups. They are collaborating, because at any time things are trying to cool down. Okay, permit me, let me quote this thing. If they are not realizing, some few people will realize. If you have been watching the Nigerian movies, there's a popular name they will call Endoka. This is somebody. Yes, this is somebody. When you see the part that he plays, it is somebody you will notice that if he has once had a problem with the phone of the village, it may be many years ago, and the phone has even forgot that I had a problem with this man. Then when it comes to a situation where the phone is in the course of terrorizing his subjects, Indoka he will just go take the side of the phone and begin to support him in everything, trying to frustrate you. But he is on revenge. You, the person he is doing that, the phone will never realize that this man is here to deceive me. That is the type of game I'm trying to see.
Okay.
Our minister trying to play here.
Okay.
So those who are concerned, it is better they should be wise, because really, I've never seen a type of crisis which people have given proposal. Even a fool who is on the street has given a good proposal.
But anyway, I will come back to you. I want to again. The conversation has moved more to Atanganji than not looking at Ayaba and Ebenezer Akanga and co. Good afternoon, Jarvis and all panelists in the studio. Good afternoon, our faithful viewers. Let it be known the secessionist leaders, let it be known to the secessionist leaders that they have failed woefully and have lost the war. It does not mean the government is right, but it has won. It is high time they call off hostilities against the government so as to put an end to wanton extermination of our youth, as we see every day. Is coming from an anonymous sender. This oral is I love the lady on the program. She is speaking the bitter truth. May God bless. She's speaking the bitter truth. May God bless her effort. Patience from Yaoundé. This other one reads. It says, "Good afternoon, Mr. Moderator. I don't know if you are moderating the program or you are defending the government." Alfred from Bamenda. Good afternoon. Hello, my favorite TV show. I want to contribute something concerning the program. Concerning the programs you host and the one today, the journalists who are opportune to host programs should always should allow invitees to express themselves to their last point instead of hiding their ideas, diverting them from the program, from the original thought. Nobody's deviating anybody from the original thought. We just want to ensure that they get the opportunity to express their mind detailedly for the common man to understand. Ayaba Lucas is blaming his fighters. And Atanga is saying that we have won the war. If we look at 2018, 2019, the peak of the crisis, we are moving down slope. In terms of the rigorous gunshots we have, is it not time for us to say maybe we took this thing from a different perspective? Let's look at it now from another perspective.
Well, Mr. Jarvis, it is not
or
only...
Or is Ayaba Lucas afraid of ICC or International Tribunal? That's why he's coming out to clear his image.
Well, Mr. Jarvis, it is not really that Ayaba is afraid. I told you it's a political game they are playing. You will notice that it is not only Ayaba that made an outing, because I just read on National Telegram. Yes, we also have Eric Tata.
And Eric Tata,
yes,
you are saying?
Yes, Eric Tata went out on National Telegram. I think that was yesterday. And when I read what he wrote, I noticed that he too blamed the secessionists. He too had the same idea with Ayaba. It means that the leaders of these separatist fighters are gradually coming out to reality.
So they are rebranding their strategy?
Sure, they are trying to, they are coming out with, we do not know their push factor. That's the truth. We do not know on what they are counting on to be able to make this statement. But what we are interested on is what they say. Because Cameroonians have really suffered, and we have lost about 25,000 people in this Anglophone crisis, and many people have been displaced. So many families have been disorganized, and it has greatly affected the economy of Cameroon. So it is time that all Cameroonians, those that are leading this battle, should rebrand. Because when I read
official figures puts the death toll at 3,000 plus.
I read that is we can just come out with, everybody can have his own statistics. We cannot be sure, because there are people who die, we do not find their bodies, and they are not counted amongst those who died and those who are missing too. So I will tell you that it's not only Ayaba and Ebenezer Kangwa. We also had Eric Tato, who came out yesterday and spoke of the visit of Cameroon's Secretary of State Ferdinand Gongo, who is recently in Bamenda to take part in a meeting with the Secretary of State of the Cardinal to me of the Pape Francois
Vatican.
Yes, of Vatican, Pape Francois. He was received too by John Gute and the President. So I think that the Catholic Church too has found interest in this war, and I think that with all these bodies we are going to find solutions to better quench these problems. And I think that Ayaba and Ebenezer should not only rebrand these things, but they should come out to a roundtable discussion. They should bring out ideas like the roundtable discussion. But the problem is, will the government accept this roundtable discussion? Will they organize another inclusive dialogue, which is being solicited by so many Cameroonians? Because I tell you, Mr. Jarvis, carrying guns, knives, and all other equipment do not solve a problem. Because you will accept with me that at the end of every war in every country, we always come out with a roundtable discussion that brings out solutions. So I want to call on all the other separatist leaders to join hands with Ayaba, Ebenezer Kangwa, and Eric Tata to look on their own perspectives, to rebrand, because naturally they have, I cannot say they have failed. They have, they have put emotions in this. Because
what do you mean that you cannot say they have failed?
I cannot tell them
in place. Thousands of people have been killed. Hundreds of schools have been burnt down. A lot of students are out of school. We have a lot of villages
Mr. Jarvis,
you're telling us that it's been successful, meaning that the numerous and wanton killings we have is a success to this kind of war that many will say shameless war and warless war.
Mr. Jarvis, I cannot say it on a TV station that the separatist fighters and the ideas they had previously has failed. I can only say they are casting. When I talk of casting, it means the way they carried out what they were demanding from the government was a wrong strategy. Okay. But I cannot say they have failed. So I think that they are trying to rebrand their demands which is like avoiding the killings, avoiding children from not going to school. Like they will permit children going to school now. They will allow our parents, our mothers to stay in peace, and they will go out for an inclusive dialogue. That is what I mean. Okay. I do not clap for the fact that people died. People have died. We have lost so many people, and I have lost members of my families. It means that their strategy or their casting was wrong.
Okay.
So they should rebrand.
Coming back to you.
Okay.
The woman Manuel, briefly, so that we can move to the next topic of the day, which is ID card and passport issue. But let's round up with this first part of it. Before then, I love the analysis of your guests, especially the lady and the guy who came. You are doing a great job. It's Innocent Barozi, photo from Ponaberi Douala. This one read, it says, Minister Atanga is... Please, when you are sending us your message, the Republic can, so that we can actually read your message well. You know, whether we like it or not, these are brothers, sisters, and fathers of loved ones, and we will not want our own loved ones to be called names, especially when these matters are concerned. Hi, my name is Chofo from Bamenda. I love the program. This other one read, it says, good afternoon to you all in the studio. Nice program. I think that you people should continue to invite government ministers to this program. Congratulations to House of Commons. We need more women to stand feel the pain of the common man. God bless you. This one really says, I am shamed at the utterances of the of the presenter. Well, you have a right to your opinion. Hello, good afternoon. It's coming from an anonymous sender. Do you remember briefly? Ayaba Lucas, Eric Tato, as Bar puts it, and Ebenezer Kanga, and we've had others who have been saying that the separatist fighters have been committing crime against humanity. And can we not just say that it's because of Mr. Atanganji's outing that they are afraid that they will be called to justice, or maybe there's something that's cooking that they have seen that tribunals will be coming up shortly and people will be held accountable, so they are struggling to do a public relation campaign as far as this is concerned?
Well, it could be yes and it could be no, depending on how you look at it. You know, like she said there, it's all, I buy the idea, all of them. It's all political. I know in politics, he who wins is he who succeeds to convince the person who has the hammer to lay it on him. So to me, you see, look at these people called Ayaba, Lucas, Mark Barretta. At times you see them in the swimming pools with their children. Please, I find it even heavy to over comment about Ayabacho. But I think when they want to stop a war, they stop counting corpses. If Ayabacho was speaking from the genuine part of his heart, I will applaud it. But since I'm not Jesus Christ and I cannot read his mind, and I know that he's a warmonger, because somebody I've been following on Facebook for a very long time, and never a day has he ever believed that this war shall come to the end. I said yes or no depending on where you are standing. When you look at it now, it could be that something transpired between Ayabacho and his fighters on the field, and there is this, they have lost touch of confidence with each other. And because of this lack of confidence, he is now angry, because what I would have expected from him was to come out clear and say that if he was genuine, now I come out to say he is not genuine. If he was genuine, he would have met a call clear: my people who were in the bushes with guns, down your guns. It is time to speak. It is time to talk. But condemnations, like I've always told you people, UN will condemn. Even though I don't believe in the UN, you know my stand on all these international organizations. They are worse than Jangi houses, even in our villages here. Condemnations will come from Ayabacho. condemnations will come from Atanga, and I come back to what my senior panelist said here, that it's like there's a game that into an agreement of provocation. This one provoke, he thinks and then steps backward, then gives room to another tragedy to take place, then they come out and condemn. That is where we find, that's the scenario in which we find ourselves. And I think Ayaba and the so-called Tato who blocked me even, I think Tato has never been genuine in anything he says. He is uncut in everything he does in his life, so it is not genuine.
Okay. Briefly on this, what's the way out of this cacophony that we have?
Out of the crisis as a whole, really now. I propose it once.
Not just, I'm just looking at the strategy of communication that we have. This person, you said there's a collabo. You see like a kind of collabo between that they are collaborating. What's the way out?
The way out of this is that the cacophony that is going on, they do not feel it. If they are tired, they should step down, and I'm instead calling on the citizens to rise and chase all these the two groups away, and then liberate the country from all this mess. Because really, that's what I tried to say before, that which type of crisis that you see, even a fool on the street has proposed a good solution to it. Up to this level, nothing has been applied. Okay. And it has changed from crisis to war. So these people, they should tell us whether they are ready to solve the war or not. I'm talking about the government and the separatists.
Okay.
If they cannot, then they should give way. If they cannot give way, the population will rise against and chase all of them away and liberate themselves.
But where do we go from here?
Well, Mr. Jarvis, as I previously said, that this is a political game between the both parties. You know, I think that politically they talk and understand themselves. That is why I previously said that I do not believe 100% to what Ayaba and Eric Tato and Ebenezer Kangwa said. I do not believe in what they say if they really meant what they said. But what I think the way out is for the population themselves to rise up and become intelligent, notice that these guys are playing over our intelligence. The both parties, Atanga and Ayaba.
Okay.
So they should denounce them, because only the population can liberate themselves. Okay. Actually, that's the truth.
Do you believe in Minister Paul Atanga? What's the way out of this? Because we see that hostility has reduced. A lot of things have reduced as far as this is concerned, though the crisis is still ongoing.
Mr. Jarvis, hostilities have not reduced. It's all about the strategy. You know, in war, there are different strategies. Let me quickly say something. You know, when Atanga went out, I don't know whether it was on the 23rd, but I want to remind you that in my place of origin, Fundong, there was terrible shooting on the 21st. I don't want to tell you what happened with one police and a gendarme. So which means that nothing has changed. It's only a change of strategy to hit, run, and then extend it. Okay. The way out, I have maintained it that this government has to climb down the high horses, ask for apology from the Cameroonians, come for genuine dialogue and a true reconciliation.
Okay.
As simple as that.
Thank you very much. We will take on this brief transition. When we come back, we are going to the second topic, which is ID card passport saga, the silence of opposition parties. We'll be coming back after this. Passport ID card is seemingly difficult to obtain. It's becoming like difficult for Cameroonians to obtain their passport and ID card. It's like a camel to pass through the eyes of a needle as far as that situation is concerned in Cameroon. And when we look at this, especially for those who had their ID card whose ID card has expired, those who have used the ID card for more than 10 years, it's difficult for them to obtain an ID card because they still have to go through the rigorous process. What should be done as far as this is concerned? And with the silence of political opposition parties, we mostly see our opposition parties only when elections are coming up. When elections are coming up, that's when you see them campaigning left and right. But when the issue of passport and ID card came up last, I think that was 2 weeks ago, with the movement that was launched online, we saw just few political parties reacted as far as this is concerned. Could it be that they too are helpless and we are all helpless as far as that is concerned? I begin with you, Diwum Emmanuel, on this issue of passport and ID card. When we look at this issue of passport and ID card, what could be the reason, the silence of opposition parties? Because we mostly see them when it comes to elections, and we mostly see them, hey, government should give freedom of speech, government should give freedom of speech. But now we have the issue of passport and ID card. What's causing the problem? They are silent.
You know my stance so well when it comes to talking about opposition, these clowns that they call opposition parties in Cameroon. There's no opposition party in Cameroon apart from the CRM party that is trying to, like, that is motivate and make some noise around. There's no political. All these political parties are even the biggest problem that Cameroon is suffering. These political opposition parties, in quotes, these satellite CBDM parties, in quotes, they are the greatest problem that Cameroon has ever had. Why?
So finally, which problem do we have in Cameroon?
No,
you said Atanganji Minister Paul Atanganji is one of the greatest problem we have. Now you are saying that opposition parties they are the greatest problem we have. So which of these problems is
Cameroon itself is a problem if you never knew that. So know it as today.
This is land of promise, land of glory.
I think even the creation of Cameroon, God never took the time that he took to create other countries. So I am the one speaking. I am saying that
and you take responsibility.
Cameroon itself is a problem. You cannot be in a country where no single domain is working out, and you say that we should clap. No, I'm not a hand clapper. You see, this thing of ID card and passport, to be precise, it has once more revealed to us that Cameroon is still to start learning from other countries, because when you meet a policeman on the way without an ID card, you know the sanctions that goes with it. But when you go with your own money, with the stress and the processes that you go through to get this ID card, it goes for 4 years. I have a sister that she was forced to go back and do another one. But I will tell you that this thing does not, it only affects the common man. All these ministers in Yaoundé, their children have passports and ID cards in 24 hours if they like. And I have colleagues who have used, I am saying the amount here on my media plan, 50,000 francs for their ID card to be made in 7 days, and it comes. Now, which boils back to the fact that this country can never be moved by people who cannot move. How do you explain the fact that when it concerns these big people, their ID cards comes out in 4, 5, 6 days, and when you and I struggle to go through all the processes, and you remember that during presidential election, there's an official in this country in the ruling party who went to deposit the CBDM file with a receipt. But do you know that he was not rejected? Yes. It means that it's a system that they have made it, they have normalized failure in this country. They have normalized wrongdoing. They have normalized everything that is a vice to become a virtue. So even where we are standing now, the delegate general for national security came out and made promises, and we know we are with the regime of promises. Till now, we are still waiting to see fruits. But before I face out, I want to tell you that there are listeners and viewers of this program who says you owe them with a number that you promised them last week, still pertaining to ID card number.
A website.
A website. Anyway, those who reached out to me were talking about a number. So I just wish that at the end of the program.
Yeah, at the end of the program,
you
I will give the website launched by the Minister Delegate of National Security to track your ID card and passport.
Okay,
because they recently gave a WhatsApp number, but because of the situation, they had to launch now a website.
Yeah, but
which people should go there and get their ID card.
Somebody who lives in Boom, in Konene, in Saf, in Achai, and has never had the opportunity to use an electronic gadget. How will this person reach out to this website? It boils back to what I've told people, that this government is at our disservice. They are not at our service at all.
But at least it will help. They will reduce the problem by.
They will reduce to those who found themselves in the urban area.
You can call your loved ones in the city to check online, as we always do with GC. I think let's not blame the government here. I think it's a step. It's a start. If they don't do it at all, they
start in which year? Cameroon doesn't start today, man. Don't tell me it's a start. Cameroon is not starting today.
Coming back to on this same issue, Ba, how do you explain the fact that you have an ID card which has been with you for 10 years, it expired? For you to renew your ID card, you have to go through the same process like someone who've never obtained an ID card before. And secondly, how do you explain the fact that most of these ID cards take quite a difficult process for you to procure basic document, and you are from a political party, and the various opposition parties are silent, as we see in other countries where opposition parties will come and form coalition. Our coalition maybe in Cameroon ends only when elections are coming.
No, there's no coalition.
Well, Mr. Jarvis, this is a very pertinent topic which we need to talk about, because having an ID card in Cameroon is like a passport to heaven. It's very difficult. I, for once, I am a victim to this prejudice. I am a victim to this problem, actually, because I have used my ID card for 10 years. It had expired. I went in to make another ID card since last year. Till date, I haven't gotten any. And the recipe they gave me has it is not even visible. And the problem is, when you go to these police stations, they treat you like trash. You know, they don't feel your pain. That's the problem. The problem is not you going back for the same process. The problem is the longevity you get in having your ID card. It is really a problem, because, you know, nothing in Cameroon is being done without an ID card. You cannot travel, you cannot write your concours, you cannot even write an examination, and this handicaps a lot of students who are unable to register for official exams due to ID card issues, and, you know, maybe concours that have been launched. You know, it creates a whole lot of trouble. You know, I am from the CPNR political party, which is a party that has all humans, Cameroonians at heart. That is our point of focus. So we launched the I Want My ID Card initiative by our spokesperson, Anne Fegon, that really went viral on social medias. And I think that through this, so many people, so many Cameroonians have gotten their ID cards. Now, the problematic that goes around this thing is the other opposition parties, they are silent. Why? Because, you know, we saw the delegate of national security, Mbagangele, he came out and he organized a press conference saying that everything will be arranged. But till date, we still have the same problems. The issue is the Cameroon government is a kind of government that always needs to attract critics to be able to defend themselves. They always want to defend themselves. I think it was just a window dressing, because nothing has changed.
So you call a press conference by the minister window dressing?
What has happened? What has changed? He promised us that in 1-2 months we are going to have our ID cards. But till date, nothing has changed. But recently we saw a video of passports scattered around the streets of this government school we call Collège Leclerc in Yaoundé. We saw passports of noble citizens of Cameroon being shattered on the roads like that.
With the expiration date of 2025.
Sure, it means these passports were being arranged this year. These are recent passports that I think that most of these guys are waiting their passports, but yet it is littered on the road, and I heard it has been sleeping there for some days, and everybody was scared to touch. It means there is a problem. There is a problem in the continuity of this government. This government has a whole lot of problem. But I would disagree with my co-panelist that said Cameroon is a problem, because Cameroon has no problem. It is our leaders that have the problem, because Cameroon is our motherland. Cameroon has given us everything, the natural resources and everything we have. But yet, those that are governing us are not governing us in the right way. That is the problem we have in Cameroon, because you cannot tell me Cameroon is a problem, yet you're still in Cameroon. You would have gone and taken maybe the nationality of another country. It means you love this country, and you shouldn't treat a noble country like being a problem. You should tag the government and the regime being the problem, like Atanga and the other ministers that are sleeping, who are just there to enjoy, destroy our resources, make us suffer, handicap us.
Okay.
And the problem is, let me land, Mr. Jarvis.
Mr. Tebe,
Sure. The problem is, it is only people like us, those that have nothing, those that have nobody to fight for us, that suffer the problem.
They have not.
We have nothing. We have nobody. We are voiceless. The only place we can come and denounce is like you give us a plateau like this to come and cry out our plight, because government officials do not have the same problem like us. They will order their ID cards and it comes out the same day, and their passports. They have no problem.
Thank you.
It is the problem of people like us who have nobody to fight for us, Mr. Jarvis.
Thank you. Let me take some messages for coming to you, Mr. Tebek. This was a good afternoon, Jarvis, and greetings to your panel, men and frank lady. Political parties are helpless when it comes to solving the issue in Cameroon. What has the Parliament and Senate done in identifying and solving problems in this country? The issue of identity card and passport is a long-standing problem in Cameroon. Cameroonians have learned to cope with bad governance. It's coming from an anonymous sender. And this oral read, it says that this uncle is making wisdom ahead of House of Commons. This other one, which it says, Ayaba simply want to put order amongst the fighters concerning the ICC. Both sides will face the music. Alfred from Bamenda. This one reads, this other one reads, it says, Inside Chiruma Bakari, quoting Winston Churchill, said history has always been written by the victors. In the light of the Benida Atanga and Ayaba, we've been wise to see the failed war strategy of the secessionists and trying to write their name in the good books of history, not to be classified as terrorists. This other one reads, it says, please, when you send us your message, be a kind of Republican. This it says, please, sir, with due respect, will you allow viewers to know the minds of other contributors? The solution to these our problems start right there, and from you, talk about the truth and solve the problem. This SMS reads, it says, good afternoon to you all, panelists. Ryan from Macbach. I'm very happy of the topic like this came up. I'm very happy topic like this came up since I became an adult. I've been asking, why should your nationality as Cameroonian get expired? This other one says, greetings to you in the studio. I am Tata from Chang. ID cards were said to have had problems because of lack of materials, but I must tell you that there has been a huge production of ID card. Please verify info before talking. Thanks. Hello, House of Commons. I am Ferdinand from Bamenda. I suggest that the issue of ID cards, especially the government, should extend its expiring date to after 20 years, because even after how many years one still remain unchanged, while your passport, I think, is the same. And this one which says, good afternoon to you all. Please, separatists are already on the table waiting for the government to talk. It's coming from Frank in Moyuka. The ID card and passport is another way of government to raise revenue. So why should we just wait there? Why should we I think it's not clear. When you send us an SMS, please make sure that it's clear. Good afternoon to you in the studio. Ayaba and co are very correct. They are out in condemning the excesses of the fighters like kidnapping, rape, torture. But the government has always supported the Cameroon army, not denouncing their excesses. It's coming from Joseph in Bamenda. God is good. Isn't it time for opposition parties to form a strong coalition and get the parliament and senate to react on this ID card issue, because myself, I'm a victim. My ID card has expired, and to do another ID card has been kind of like a camel to pass through the eyes of the needle.
I like the question, but I will start from somewhere. I will start from the ID card and end on political parties. It is very clear in Cameroon that I would like to comment that if corruption and hypocrisy was a commodity that could be exported, I think Cameroon could have been very rich. What am I saying? We are talking an ID card. There is a ID card like other documents. There are places where when you go there to make an ID card, if you don't want to pass through somebody, we are all in Douala, we know what is called demarcher. If you don't want to pass, if you want to be the people who call Thomas, you are going to pass from 8 o'clock in the morning, maybe to around 4 o'clock in a police station trying to make an ID card, which means that there are some people who are playing, have gone through, who are playing this role of middleman monopoly, which means that if you pass through him, you will receive your ID card very fast. And those who want to be Thomas, like we used to say in the quarter, you will stand there until you begin to feel your pains on your legs. So that's one thing that has eaten into our bone. It goes right to the passport. The passport means that if some people apply for passport and cannot get the passport for quite a long time, it is because those people who are in charge of the passport spend their time trying to satisfy those who have given money. And then you who does not want to give money, since you are very stingy, you will wait until the day I will be free and there will be no passport in front of me. Then I have to go and search for your own to send to you. That's just the comment I wanted to make. Then on the political parties.
Yes, is it not time for the political parties to come together and form a strong coalition and pressure the Senate and the Parliament to take concrete action to solve this ID card and passport wahala? Because this is the _1 document of a citizen, but difficult to have.
For the political parties, I will start from somewhere before coming to coalition. I've always blame the political parties, and also sometimes I see reason in them. I want to give a brief information on political parties. In Cameroon, I cannot say that there is no opposition party in Cameroon. We have opposition parties in Cameroon that they still remain very strong. I can quote two. There are opposition parties in Cameroon that have created history. I think a party that fought for independence in the country is the UPC. A party like AZF that fought for democracy. If they are not winning councils today, it's not that they have not won. And then I started seeing again new parties coming up this time around. And I appreciated the candidate that came up during the last presidential election. I saw candidates that I admire them. Let me tell you something concerning political parties. Political parties in Cameroon is this way. Fighting the ruling party in Cameroon is like, have you ever seen when the lions are trying to kill an elephant? Sometimes you even climb on him, he carries you and begin to go away. The ruling party in Cameroon, to face the ruling party in Cameroon is something, it is not easy that way. But I want to look the political parties this way. When you see political parties, sometimes they blame them that they are waiting for a presidential election, Jarvis. It is what we call in French, relanti. You know, in a football match, when you are an attacker, if you attack this way, attack several times trying to score, and you are not able to score, there is a period that you fall back into your zone, and you begin to observe, because that your opener is not an easy one. I'm talking about the ruling party. It's not easy. You have to fall back. So political parties sometimes they fall back and begin to observe another way, another strategies that they can use to come up. Now coming to a coalition, really, when we see what has been going on in Cameroon through elections, most of these legislative election and presidential election, I don't really see any coalition that will come together and through normal election, and we are not very sure that they can change things with the regime, because this our ruling party, it's functioning in a type of way that it is like these telephone companies we can call that give network, the Orange and the MTN and the rest, without making publicity. Do you know that if you are dealing with MTN and you don't have the ID the SIM card of Orange, you don't have anything to do mostly with information concerning them. So in Cameroon, politics is the type of way that if you are not affiliated to the ruling party, your ideas are very far from consideration. You will speak political parties that have been condemning, they have done everything, but I don't see they are coming together that will change something. But we are not discouraging them. We know that in politics we don't surrender, because sometimes when the time that you are trying to surrender, that is instead the time victory will come your way. We are still calling on political parties. I know that they have not started reacting. They are still coming to react. They should try to understand themselves. I know that.
How long will it take for them to react?
It's really, you have to know that politics like that, political parties have different political ideologies. You know, coming together is like harmonizing ideas. Harmonizing means that some of your ideas you have to drop them and take the other one. So that's why it doesn't come in making a coalition. It's not just something you just come together like we are sitting on the panel, yes, to form a coalition. But it should be, we encourage that such things should take place, because if it does, really, one party cannot win the ruling party, because we don't see the ruling party solving these problems we are talking about. Yes.
Jarvis, I'm just coming in directly because, you see, when you observe the political scene in Cameroon, except otherwise you are not honest. You cannot tell me. I maintain that there is no opposition party in Cameroon as such, because opposition parties are parties that 24 on 24 they work. 24 on 24 they present their agenda.
So we have seen this, the CPP of Kawala, the MRC, the PCRM, the SDF. We have seen the UPC. We have seen members of opposition party in prison just for challenging a status quo. And you say that we have opposition party in Cameroon. What they were doing was, were they doing a birthday ceremony?
Okay.
Before which landed in prison?
I also like to remind you that the best coalition that these opposition parties could ever have in Cameroon was a complete boycott of every election, so that only CPDM alone stands out for it. But since they are not into politics and they are into politics, they are rushing after crumbs.
But we are witnessing the effect of boycott, like in 1996. Well, I think in the 1992, which is because of the 1992 boycott that we are experiencing the decentralization of 1996, when SDF, which was the major opposition party, boycotted the election in which they were supposed to have majority at the parliament, probably to challenge the effective decentralization.
Tamai Jarvis. 1996, 2021 are two different eras.
Okay.
Mentalities have changed. Political methodologies have changed. And even the metamorphosis of parties have changed. Boycott today is the only coalition to this closed system of government that we have in the name of CPDM. If every party, but it is difficult, Tama Jarvis, because the ruling party, the party in place, has already discovered that the highest way to succeed is to push Cameroonians into abject poverty and extreme hunger. When they push Cameroonians to abject poverty and extreme hunger, and then throw a bone to political parties, each party comes with the hope that, look, before this presidential election goes over, I would have had in my account this amount. I will open my quincailleries, I will open my stores. Even if my party doesn't win, I would have won. Okay. So all these parties, why I say they are not opposition, they are not thinking of Cameroonians. They are thinking of themselves and their families. So there is no common joint that brings them together. Okay. That is why I say opposition parties in Cameroon are still to be born.
Greetings to everyone in the studio. The issue of ID card here in Cameroon is complicated, and the government should extend the expiring date of ID cards. This one reads, it says, hello, good afternoon. I don't know why you people are taking your time to say what you know can never be changed. We love our country and we should keep praying for change of government, and not by saying something that we know it will be impossible to change. It's coming from an anonymous sender. We are slowly but surely coming to an end of today's edition of the program. This one is good afternoon to you in the studio. I see no reason why ID card should expire, because to me that's a document that identifies an individual, and I can as well as sideline it to birth certificate. I feel a lot. I can always highlight it to birth certificate. I feel a lot needs to be done, since acquiring it is difficult. It's coming from Katrin in Kumba. Good afternoon, Mr. Coordinator. Good afternoon, Mr. Coordinator. We love Cameroon, and God did not make a mistake to make sure we own this part of the world. Our problem is those who are leading us. If a family head or minister is living in lies, what will the future of the nation be? Good afternoon in the studio. Please, I want to ask why Cameroon is so corrupt that people make their ID card for them to give instead ask for money to be paid. This is coming from an anonymous sender. We are out of time, gentlemen and lady. Your last word before we part company bar.
Sender that said we had a huge supply of ID cards. I want to tell the sender that this huge supply of ID cards were ID cards that were being produced long before now, because if you look at the expiring dates of those ID cards, the dates are closed. It means they were produced since, and some received even 3 years after, so there is no huge supply. If we talk of huge supply, we should talk of recent ID cards that have been produced. And also tell that the problem we have with this government is a problem of bureaucracy. There is so much bureaucracy and laissez-faire, and the problem of corruption.
Time is fast on.
That's the truth. And I don't know the difference between the biometric ID cards and the normal ones. I think there is no problem, because there is no need given these ID cards being made by a country out of Cameroon, a European country. It's a wastage of money and a sign of corruption for them to embezzle our funds. So my last word to this panel is that I will call upon the government to change their mentality, that they should have Cameroonians at heart, and that they should stop sending Atanga to provoke Cameroonians at this very delicate situation we have in Cameroon this moment. Thank you.
Are you really asking that a minister should be fired?
I did not say he should be fired. I said he should lie low for now. He should let the problems of Cameroon. They should instead give communication department, because I think he goes vocal all the time. They should reduce the way he goes vocal, because he's provoking a lot of Cameroonians rather than arranging the situation we have. Thank you.
Your last word.
Well, we are hoping for a better Cameroon, and we are telling our government officials who have been failing very badly that please, it is not too late. Calm down. Beg for forgiveness. Cameroonians will forgive you people, and then you people will leave the chairs. We will continue from where you people started.
Yeah, that's right.
I would propose that somebody said there that the ID card should be like certificate. We could have made, I don't know whether maybe the government is using it as also a source of income. ID card could have been like certificate.
It's a source of income
forever, except it is missing before we make another one. I also like our government and our officials to understand that you should think about what people will remember you for by the time you are out of power, and don't think for your own personal interest. I think somebody will make the best victory in life is the number of people you make them to smile. That's what they should be thinking about.
Tendong Julius from Bamenda, greetings to you on board. The victim of ID card issue. I renewed my ID card in 2016. Just six later, they were switched. 6 weeks later, they were switched to a new system. I had to go through a new procedure to do another ID card. Thank you very much, all those of you who took our time to participate on today's edition of our program House of Commons. Come to you every Sunday live at exactly 12 to 1:30 p.m. and it is rebroadcast at 10:30 on Sunday and rebroadcast on Monday at exactly 10 p.m. on Monday. We'll have a rebroadcast of this same program, and you can go to our Twitter handle, My Media Prime, or or you go to the Facebook page, My Media Prime Facebook page, to get more about our program. To those of you who want to get news about our programs, you may go to www.btmediagroup.net. You can get to our YouTube channel equally, which is BT Media Group, our YouTube channel for all of our programs. You subscribe to our YouTube channel, BT Media Group on YouTube, where you subscribe, all the notifications will be brought to you. And why not visit us at Fengo John Bange? I leave you with this: no matter the matter, what matter is your matter. No matter the matter, what matter is your matter. And what should matter for you this day is that you should know that God is God and God remains God. Know and ask yourself, what legacy shall you keep for your children? Because heaven and earth shall pass away, and your legacy will still remain as God's word will still remain. My name is Samai Jarvis from Cameroon's economic capital, Douala. Bye-bye and au revoir.